Just 3 years after West Virginia became a state, and a year after the end of the Civil War, construction began for a maximum security state prison along the Ohio River. Over the next 129 years, it was to serve as the primary public institution to protect decent society from murderers, rapists, and other dangerous felons. Constructed in a Gothic style reminiscent of a medieval castle, with 24-foot-high walls, the prison is a formidable place. Built by convict labor of massive, hand-cut native sandstone, it stands as a reminder of an unforgiving prison life. Old stone watchtowers stand guard at regular intervals atop the high walls. Once manned 24 hours a day by armed guards, they now stand a silent reminder to its ultimate purpose: confine, imprison, and punish. The number of prisoners varied from highs of more than 2,700 in the 1930s to a court-ordered maximum of 575 that took effect in 1986. Overcrowding was common and conditions harsh. At different times, as many as 3 prisoners shared the same 5-by-7 cell. As it now stands, the prison consists of a 70-by-70 main administration building over 4 stories high with the original cell blocks located on either side, each 180 feet in length. The prison site is 10 acres in area, with 5 acres being enclosed by the original penitentiary complex. Inside the walls are recreation areas, a chapel, prison industries, and a dining hall. Looking down from the guard tower atop the old wagon gate, the prison yard is anything but inviting. Even the basketball court is surrounded with razor-sharp wire and chain link, but then it's reserved for the maximum security prisoners who were never outside of a fenced area. A modern kitchen is a relatively new addition. Inmates from the general population ate their meals here. A central guard station made sure that prisoners were always in view, always under observation. Even during meals, a large steel door, electrically controlled from the guard room, closed behind them. There was no glory in being a prisoner. As you enter the main gate, the first sight is cold stone, punctuated by windows and doors with solid iron bars. Once inside, you pass through the cage, a large rotating door with only one way in and one way out. Not that you'd be leaving anytime soon. To the left is the infamous North Hall, sometimes called the Alamo, where only the worst inmates, the incorrigible ones, the ones that were even a threat to the other prisoners, were housed. Everything, all the open spaces, are enclosed with chain-link fence, iron bars, and guards. Prisoners in this block were kept locked in their cells 22 hours each day and let out only for exercise and to eat. 1 day a week they were permitted to shower. Of course, each cell offered the latest in comfortable accommodations: a rugged, steel-framed bed, modest lighting, and a stainless steel facility for personal hygiene. Once the cell door closed, there was no doubt where you were and how long the hours would seem as days turned into months and then into years. Of course, prison life was not without its diversions. Some of the inmates turned the time into opportunities to exhibit their artistic talents. If you were part of the general prison population, each day you would walk down a long corridor to the rows of cells. In this area, the cells were slightly larger, though often shared by more than one inmate. In both blocks, the cells were stacked 4 tiers high. Access was controlled from central guard locations. Each cell door was electrically locked. The shower facilities in the general population cell block were luxurious compared to those in the North Hall. While limited, prisoners were permitted some contact with friends and relatives. A visitor area allowed inmates to see and talk to family in a controlled setting, but there was no actual contact and little privacy. Life on the inside was hard, and it could also be very dangerous. To settle a score in the tough joint, prisoners would sometimes make weapons from any objects or materials they could find. A metal bed support turned into a razor-sharp knife. A simple toothbrush became a fearful and deadly weapon. From 1889 to 1950, capital criminals were executed at the prison by hanging. But in 1950, a change was made to a more humane method, the electric chair, which was actually constructed by an inmate. Feet and hands were strapped down and electrodes clamped in place. Then the head and body were fastened and an electrode placed on the head. As the circuits closed, needles on the monitoring equipment recorded the voltage. In a few seconds, it was over. From 1950 to 1965, when the death penalty was abolished, 9 prisoners met their fate in the electric chair. For 129 years, the West Virginia Penitentiary stood as the last recourse for society to deal with people convicted of serious crimes. A 1-hour walking tour, often conducted by former correctional officers, helps visitors understand the nature of the life that existed behind the cold stone walls of the tough joint.